Economically, the game is over. The Chinese, if not already a wealthier economic unit than we are, which they probably are, will be within a few years. Very few, like by the end of this decade, if not already. So economically, they are now our equal. But remember, they're our equal. They're going up. We're going down. We're equal, but the trajectory is unmistakable across the board. Right? And so politically, it comes right after that. If you're that powerful economically, if you're the place that the whole world goes to cut a deal because you get a better deal than you can get from Washington or London, which is now most of the time the case. That's why if you look at the biggest harbor being built in Africa, it's being built by the Chinese. If you look at the new railroads going across parts of Latin America, it's built by the Chinese. On and on and on. The Panama Canal, why does he want to take it? Well, the United States is the number one country using the Panama Canal. China's number two. China has built all these buildings to handle their shipping. It's everywhere, and once you start looking, you see it everywhere. But militarily, there's none of that. Americans have to understand, even if you don't agree with me, try to understand how the rest of the world looks at it. The United States maintains 750 military bases around the world. China doesn't have any.
How's the Chinese running the planet right now? The Chinese is really the superpower of the planet. You know why? They're the most organized people. And a lot of Chinese don't like Mao Zedong. And Mao Zedong did a lot of bad things. But let me tell you what Mao Zedong did do. When he took over China, China was considered a debtor nation. Nobody respected him. Nobody paid him no attention. When Mao Zedong went to Russia, Stalin wouldn't even shake his hand. He said, the Chinese are so beneath me, I'm not even going to shake their hand. What did Mao Zedong do? He went back to China. He said, oh, yeah, the world mocks us now. They will need us later. Guess what he did? He started a cultural revolution, which he borrowed from the Honorable Marcus Garvey. He sold being Chinese back to the Chinese people. And then guess what he did? He sent Chinese youth all around the world to study what everybody else was doing and to learn how to make what they were making. And the genius of the Chinese Revolution lies in the fact that they didn't try to compete with the Americans, the French, the Belgians, the British. You know what they did? They said, we simply going to learn how they make what they make.
Go back home
And make the best replica of it and sell the replica.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Chinese make everything. I was over there. Listen, when I was in the malls in China, this is the crazy thing about China. In America, if you want to buy some bootleg merchandise, you got to go to the back street, right? Mm-hmm. Guess where they sell it at in China? Right in a mall. Bro, they were selling fake Jordans in the mall. Beautiful mall. Like you go to a mall here, imagine walking to a mall and a store full of fake Jordans. A store full of fake True Religion. A store full of fake Ralph Lauren. I couldn't believe, in the open, no hiding. Because remember, they communists. So they don't believe in capitalism. So they don't respect it. They don't respect it at all. So in China, you can buy anything bootleg you want made by the white man. They're going to sell it to you. In open air. No secret. So I ain't going to lie. I went crazy. I said, damn this. I'm taking some of this back to America. So, it's all about organization. And Mao Zedong sent his youth around the world to learn what everybody else was making. And he decided that China was going to basically become the dollar store and the Walmart of the planet Earth. You know why the white man can't do nothing with the yellow man? The reason the Americans and the British and the French can't stop China, this is what China did. This was genius. Capitalism is all about doing what? Paying $1 for it, selling it for $1,000. Right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Air Jordans cost about $7. We're going to sell them for $250. That's capitalism. We're going to make 100-fold profit, right? Mm-hmm. So the communists, the Chinaman said, you know what we're going to do? We're not going to compete with them. 2/3 of the world lives on less than $1 a day. 2/3 of the world live on less than they can't afford to buy all this. So why we want to make a car to compete with Mercedes? Why we want to make a sneaker to compete with Air Jordan? Most people around the world will never buy that. They can't afford it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to make merchandise that the poor can buy. China caters to the poor. The problem with America can't get rid of China. How do you put somebody out of business who's underselling everything you produce? You see that? You can't mess with them. Everybody buys from China. The whole Asia buy from China. Africa buy from China. The Caribbean buy from China. Central and South America buy from China. We buy from China. How you going to get rid of them? China has made themselves indispensable to the existence of the world. Cheap clothes, they sell it. Cheap food, they got it. The dollar store stuff. Where most of your dollar store stuff come from? China.
Made in China, yes.
So how the hell are you going to get rid of China when China is taking care of the poor people who represent the majority of the earth? Check it out. Basically, the Chinese are saying to the white man, you made the world poor through capitalism. And I'm going to cater to the people you made poor so they never need you again.
Concern lately about China. They are now all over Africa, buying things and investing over there and getting those countries dependent on them and supporting, non-democratic people. And I'm just
like
wondering,
whom?
Well,
we are in a country that supports Saudi Arabia.
Yes, that's true. Right.
So suddenly we have a problem with, superpowers supporting non-democratic people.
Yes, yes, I do. They're in Africa. They're lending money to countries to build ports and different infrastructure.
To build what?
Port.
And what's wrong with that?
And because
countries that need ports get ports.
But they're making people dependent on. I know it's the same thing that we've done, which is
no, it's not.
Around the world.
They are far more humanistic than the United States ever was.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely.
Great. So.
Let me give you an example. Of course, they are peddling for influence.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they are non-interventionist. Absolutely non-interventionist in a way that Europeans, the West, has never managed to fathom. When it comes to the influence of China outside its borders, I have to say, firstly, it's quite remarkable that they don't seem to have any military ambitions. Secondly, Africa. I'll give you an example, a specific example. Ethiopia. 2004, because I happened to be there and I have some first-hand experience of it. They went into Ethiopia. I'll tell you why they went into Ethiopia, because they suspected there was oil. Because China is a major industrial power, but it lacks primary resources. Now, instead of going into Africa with troops, colonially, destroying the country, killing people like the West has done for the last 100 years, what they did was they went to Addis Ababa and they said to the government, we would like, we can see you have problems with your infrastructure, we would like to build some new airports, upgrade your railway system, create a telephone system, and rebuild your roads. And we'll do this all for free. No strings attached. We don't want anything from you. And they did. Why did they do it? Because it's soft power. Because because they knew that if oil is discovered, and it was discovered later, then, of course, the Ethiopian government will be much more open to Chinese oil companies coming there. They have never combined their investment with imperialistic. Can you imagine if that was a German company or an American company? That's why I'm saying I don't think you should worry.
Okay, I won't.
Wager a bet today that in 25 years when we return for the 50th anniversary of the Nesca conference, that
you're very welcome.
that China will not be dominating the world at that time. And I'll wager that bet for two reasons. One is because I don't believe China intends to dominate the world. And number two is even if they did, they would fail at it. Because we moved way past beyond the age of dominance. I think it'll be difficult for any one power to dominate the world. It's the wrong mindset. But let me just say this. In my lifetime, just in my career, peaceful rise has already happened. It's a fact on the ground. We went from a poor agrarian country to a behemoth that you know that is China today. Behemoth in every respect. Okay? Yet, no country has been invaded. Not a single shot fired. No violence. And if you look at human history, the rise of every power, from Athenian Empire to the Roman Empire to the British Empire to America's manifest destiny to the rise of modern Germany and modern Japan, Ottoman Empire, every single one of them, their rise was accompanied by tremendous bloodshed, colonization, wars, massacres, okay? And China's rise to date has been bigger and faster than them all.
Have to go to China and allow China to now build if I go to DJI, I bet you they won't hesitate a moment to use linchpin. And then the US is unable to use them. And then what happens to it? If I give my energy system to another country, what happens to it? The same energy system that they're trying to squash here. What happens to this place if I do that, which they're forcing me to do? Do you know that they took away my passport out of the blue? Just took away my passport. First, they said my passport, that I had some child support things, and I was like, that's some BS. Took 4 months to argue that I had no passport issues with child support. Then it's like, oh, it's your taxes. It's you owe taxes, so we're going to take away your passport. Why? So I couldn't go to Dubai. Why? So I couldn't go and get this stuff financed. It's all the suppression, and I'm like, okay. So after I'm done here today, when I get home, I'm going to put online the equations necessary to have a thing called unlimited energy, to be able to pull energy directly from the flux, just to say fuck you to the world. I'm going to show them how to pull energy directly from the flux.
In the UK. Stand up, stand up. Very good. And sit down. Versus the US.
Roll the die, be careful.
Meanwhile, in China,
Shaolin monks are children who choose to join the temple and follow its teachings. They start their training as early as 6 or 7 years old. They practice for hours every day, from dawn to dusk. They learn various skills, such as flexibility, strength, endurance, balance, and coordination. They also learn the scriptures, the history, and the philosophy of Shaolin. The young Shaolin monks train hard because they want to achieve excellence and enlightenment. They want to honor the tradition and the legacy of Shaolin. They want to fulfill their goals and dreams, whether it is to become kung fu stars, teachers, or warriors. The young Shaolin monks face many challenges and difficulties. They have to endure physical pain, mental stress, and emotional pressure. They have to follow strict rules and discipline. They have to balance their studies and their training.
Society is too weak. Do you think somebody in the Stone Ages had depression? A more modern variation, the Spartans. Do you think they had depression? Maybe you are laughing, but all of these groups, they are too busy with their body, they are too busy with activity to be depressed. But nowadays, how does the time look? You can sit if you want from morning till evening, just in front of the screen. And nothing's gonna happen anymore. We need to make us stronger again. get more physicality into your life.